What's going on, everybody? Benton Blakeman here for the Hand History Lounge. Welcome to Online Grind Volume 12. This week we've dropped down in stakes to meet our membership needs. I put a poll out on the Hand History Lounge asking what limits they would like to see me playing, and the majority of the votes came in for 50 cents a dollar. So that's what we're playing today. Over here on table 2, I'm going to fold King Jack offsuit from early position. I'm going to be playing 6 tables today. What I would suggest is this will be table 1, table 2, and table 3. If you see on table 1, I've got 2 tables going. You can see by the cards at the top of the screen. I would swipe back and forth for them. Over on table 2, I've got 3 tables going. Action be highlighted at the top when it's my turn. I'll swipe back and forth. What I would suggest is not to pay attention so much about me swiping back and forth. If there's a interesting spot, I will land on that table and I will talk about that spot. I think everything else, like here on table 3, I'm just going to fold 9 deuce. I'm not going to talk about stuff like that. We're just going to pass those spots by. Queen 8 suited on table 1, facing a 5x raise. It's just too big for us to call, especially for a short stack, so we'll go ahead and fold. Had this been a 3x raise, we would have called 2 more big blinds. So this video will be the same kind of format that I've been doing. It just will be a little bit different because I'm actually have some tables stacked. The reason I'm doing that is I'm just trying to get more hands in, more interesting spots. I normally just put 4 tables across, 1 table on each. I decided to make my tables a little bit bigger here. And we'll just see how this works. Again, I'm just trying to get more hands in to give us more things to talk about. And if it doesn't work, we'll go back to the other format. Also, when I'm playing smaller, I get bored kind of easily, which is a leak of mine. So I'm playing a few more tables to hopefully quell the boredom some and find some cool spots. Over on table 1, 10-9 suited from the small blind. This is a 3-bet facing a late position raise. I like to use a 4x sizing, or close to it. I'm not going to worry with the decimal points, so we'll just do 4x plus the blind that was in there. Switching to the King Jack offsuit from early position, we'll be folding, and we'll go back and take a look at the 10-9. He folded, so we win the pot there. If we were in the big blind with 10-9 suited, we'd mostly be calling, but from the small blind, we're incentivized to 3-bet because the big blind can squeeze us out of the pot very often. Ace Queen offsuit over here on table 2 is a standard open to 3x. So we're going to 3-bet a lot more from the small blind, do a lot more calling from the big blind. Excuse me. If you see me sliding tables, it's just because I know I'm in a hand here with the ace queen, but I see junk hands here, so I just want to fold them and be done with it. The 8-7 suited on table 1, facing a 4x after a limp, will call. I do expect a limp re-raise some percentage of the time from D. Heisens here. And if he does that, so be it. Flopping 2 pair on a pretty dynamic board. We're going to go with a larger size because their ranges shouldn't matter based on our sizing. They're either going to call or they're not going to call. Ace-10 offsuit on table 1, under the gun. Not a good enough hand to bet under the gun. This is an interesting spot over here on table 1. When it goes bet raise with these short stacks, backdoor flush draw and a straight draw, we could decide to get it in, but I just think it's a little bit loose versus limping range. I think I'm going to fold here, make a pretty tight fold. Let's see what happens here with the action. I expect to see a hand like 10-9, 9-8, sets, top pair with a queen kicker, okay, and he had the straight draw. So yeah, I think overall it's a good fold. We're definitely behind, and looks like they're running it multiple times, which we wouldn't have had the option to do, but we wouldn't have got there any time anyway. So yeah, good fold. I think his limp range and then raise range on the flop is just going to be stronger than second pair there. And I don't really want to get in 70 blinds. Over on table 2, 6-5 suited. Early position for sure, but I do like to add in a few of these. It's kind of a weird thing where I may fold 6-7 suited or 7-8 suited from early position, but I'm going to raise 5-6 just to give me a few hands in there where I have some board coverage on lower flops. On table 3, Queen 10 suited on the button. Pretty easy call here. And completely with the 5-6. It's a board that does hit our range, but that doesn't matter. The guy's got 16 bucks, and it doesn't matter even if he had a full stack. It's such a low equity hand or no equity hand in this spot that it's not even worth a bluff. In general, a lot of people say you want to take your worst hands and bluff with them because they can't win, but I like to reserve my bluffs for having some semblance of equity when I do get called, and I've got none here. It's possible we may take a stab on the river if it checks to us again, just because we can't win with 6 high, but I don't want to start with early bluffs, which we'll have to do here. Queen 10 on table 3, pretty simple call with middle pair. And then we're just going to bet here. We're just trying to fold out ace highs. And that worked out fine with the 6-5. Double delay. Checking back, middle pair over on table 3. We just have a showdown bound hand. We don't need to bluff. Not good enough to bluff. Not really great enough to value bet. Not a bunch of draws to protect against. And now we're just going to be calling river bets as a bluff catcher. Or checking back. We could actually value bet here. He's never checking worse. The problem is I don't know how much he's going to call. So we can do something silly like make a $3 bet. And if we get raised, we can call because it looks like we're inducing a check raise from worse. I just think we always have the best hand there. We can get him possibly to take a hand like ace-jack and turn it into a bluff because we bet so small. Or maybe they just decide to hero call because they think they can beat queen-jack. Extremely exploitive. I wouldn't be doing it against really good players, but at the 50 cent a dollar level, I think it's perfectly fine to do it sometimes. Again, just disregard the flipping between tables. It's just the way that I don't stack normally when I play. But when I do stack, I like to jump ahead to hands like King 6 offsuit. I know that I'm going to be check folding this hand. If there's a raise, I'm going to be folding. If nobody raises, I'm going to be checking. So I'll just go ahead and click check fold, and then I'll move on and go back to other hands that need my attention. King 9 offsuit versus 12 big blind shove. I mean, I'm going to fold, but realistically, we could probably call if there's a fold here. And we're probably not winning or losing much, but I just don't need to deal with that kind of variance. Realistically, I would never call there. I'm just saying from theory-wise, it's king high, king 9 high is probably doing okay versus 12 big blind shove. King 10 offsuit from the cutoff. We would definitely open this if it folded to us, but facing an under the gun min raise, we're going to fold. No need to isolate with hands as weak as that. Deuce 3 suited. It's a very pretty hand visually when you look at it because it's connected and suited, but it's a very garbage hand, especially multi-way with terrible reverse implied odds. So it's definitely an easy fold for us. We would not be calling if we were in the big blind there either, again, because of the reverse implied odds that it has going multi-way. Reverse implied odds just meaning too often we can make a flush versus a bigger flush or make a low straight versus a higher straight and end up trapping ourselves for a lot of money. Jacks on table 3, standard open to 3 big blinds. Definitely continuing versus a 3-bet, mostly playing as a call. This is showing him as a rock, so excuse me, even more incentive for us just to call. So we'll call and take a flop in position. It's not a great flop. He checks. We're going to check back. No need to bluff. He could have kings and queens. He could definitely have an ace X. He could be slow playing. And I think we get to showdown when he has tens and stuff anyway. But I'm not in the business of trying to get people to fold kings and queens here. If he were to check again, I'm just trying to get the showdown. As is when he bets pot on turn. I think mostly he just had slow plays on the flop. Over on table 1, we had a standard raise with king queen offsuit from the cutoff, hijack, something like that, late position. 7-5 suited, I think this is just one big blind and a min raise here and a call. I think it's okay to call this hand on the button. Raising the king jack offsuit from the hijack. I think that's a good spot to open it from. That's probably right about where I would start opening king jack. Excuse me. Flop top pair, and we're just going to start by betting about half pot. And check 2 with 7s on table 2. We're just going to check back. No need to bluff 4 ways with bottom pair. Ace-10 offsuit here, facing an under-the-gun raise. We would be folding anyway. Definitely folding versus a raise and re-raise. But we're going to play pretty tight versus under-the-gun opens. And folding the pair of 7s, facing a bet over on table 2. Six four suited on the button, most likely will play it. Facing a raise from one of these spots, it will probably be a call. Facing a cutoff raise, we'll use it in our 3-bet semi-bluff range. And if the cutoff folds, we'll be raising the button with it. 8-6 suited, we're going to fold the cutoff versus the raise here. As I stated on table 1, we're going to 3-bet the 6-4 suited versus a cutoff open. 8-6 suited, if we're on the button, maybe we call, but when we call the cutoff, it gives the button too much incentive to squeeze us out of the pot. So I tend to fold there. And facing a 4-bet, we have a pretty easy fold. 4-bet ranges are extremely tight here. And even if they're not, we'll have much better hands to defend with than 6-4 suited. Queen jack offsuit from the hijack, facing a raise. We're just going to fold again. Play a pretty junky hand to be calling a raise with. Not good enough to 3-bet with. I know some of you guys are sitting there saying, oh, you know, wondering if I'm going to get to a hand in time. It's rare when I miss a hand. Pretty proficient at getting to these hands on time and making decisions relatively quickly. Ace-9 suited on table 2. We're going to be playing open for a raise when it folds to us to 3x. Had anybody raise in front of us would be calling in these games. I think the hand plays well enough to call. And if it goes multi-way, it's okay. Our kicker's not bad. And then if we do make a flush, we have the opportunity to flush over flush somebody for a nice pot. I mix calls and folds here. I'm going to go ahead and fold. I rolled a low number. I think calling is probably the standard versus a 3x raise. If he would have been $200 deep or 200 blinds deep, I definitely would have called. The fact that he was only slightly over 100 made me want to fold a little bit more, so I was glad I rolled a smaller number. Queen jack offsuit from early position is just a fold. We would open the queen jack offsuit from the hijack, the cutoff of the button. If you want to open the low jack, that's probably okay too. I personally don't in the tougher games that I play. I think in the 50 cent a dollar, it's probably fine from the low jack on, but um, my preference is high jack, cutoff, and button. If you haven't been watching, this is my 5th video in 5 weeks. I've been putting out one video a week playing on Poker Bros, mostly for the students in the Hand History Lounge. Um, I have them watch the video, and then once a week we get together on a Zoom call and talk about the video, let them ask any questions they want, and kind of do a free lesson for the Hand History Lounge members. If you're not in the lounge, we have a 2-week free trial going on right now. No reason not to get in there. Just visit www.handhistorylounge.com and sign up and give us a shot. You got nothing to lose. Ace Queen offsuit. Here, this is a pretty cool spot. This is a fold for me, facing under the gun raise, and we're under the gun +1 with Ace Queen offsuit. I opt to fold. If I were to play it, it would be played as a 3-bet as opposed to a call. I'm not going to be calling here and allow a bunch of others to call because this hand does not play well multi-way. I think this is close, getting 2, 4, 6, 7.5 to 1. I think we can call one more big blind with the Jack-8. It's an extremely weak hand, but we're getting a really, really good price, and we're pretty much just trying to flop big, hoping to flop 2-pair or a straight or a 10-9 X flop to give us a decent draw. Again, really, really crappy hand, but we're just getting such a good price, 7.5 to 1. We just don't have to make a hand that often to make that call profitable. Jack-8 offsuit also doesn't suffer from the reverse implied odds that a hand like 6-3 suited does. Okay, it looks like we are down to 5 tables now, so only 1 table here on table 1, 1 on table 3, and then we have 3 tables in the middle. Poker Bros does a weird thing where at the end of the week, most of the tables close out for the weekly reports to be done, so I expect that to start happening soon, which is okay because the video's been almost 20 minutes, so we'll just kind of go till they close out the tables. Ace-4 suited, facing 2 limps. I think all of our options are open. Let's choose limp here since it's lower than 50. After 2 limps, we can limp back or we can raise, and I think either one is fine. King 10 offsuit facing a 4x open. We're just going to fold, even though we're from the big blind. Would be calling versus a 3x. Checking back the ace-4. Pot's 4 ways, so I don't always expect to just bet and get through with ace-4 high. And there's not a ton to fight for because it's a limp pot, so there's no need to start bluffing at it. Had we raised, we would have c-bet if check 2 because we'd represent all the pairs and really good ace-high hands. And it would just make the hand easier to play. Now facing a bet, we're going to be calling with 3s full. I think that he's mostly going to bet when he has 5s a better, so I think he's just betting 2 overcards here, or he has quads. And King Queen suited from the big blind, we're going to be calling versus an under the gun raise and a call. There's no need to squeeze with it. Queen 10 offsuit from the small blind is a fold after it goes raise, call. Checking King Queen on table 2. This player under the gun, SP Poker, was the raiser, so we're going to check and see how he proceeds. Probably just calling again with the ace-4 here. Not loving the spot. He bets 9 into 13, but I think he can actually have ace-5. I guess maybe he can have some overpairs, but I still think he's just going to have like ace-3, or he's just going to have whiffed junk. Yeah, so he made a flush and bet it for value. So that's good. Win that one. Check back the king queen. We will go for value on the river if this checks through again. Yeah, on a blank river for sure. And I think half pot is fine. We're just targeting worse kings and maybe a curious 10. Could we bet the turn? Sure, because there's a bunch of draws there. But I prefer check call, just so we don't get raised off our hand when they have a draw. Ace 8 on table 1. I'm going to be raising into the big blind. I play a raise or fold strategy from the small blind into the big blind and unraised pots. Queen Jack offsuit on table 2. Again, very weak hand. From the big blind, we would be calling $2 more just because we'd be closing the action. From the small blind, we're always going to be folding, facing the raise. If the folds to the button and the button raises, we could use this as a 3-bet from the small blind, but it's not necessary. And over on table 1, I'm going to mix calls and 3-bets versus a hijack raise. I lean more towards 3-bets, so anything over 40 will be 3-betting. 35 we roll, so we're going to make it a call. When he checks this flop, I think we can just go ahead and make a bet here to deny equity or charge over cards like king queen, ace king, and when we win, that's just a plus. If we can win without seeing another card. No super interesting spots here. I think it's a lot of standard spots, but sometimes standard spots are good because if you ever find yourself in a slump when you're playing, you need to look to these standard spots because there's a good chance that the standard spots, you're playing them in a very non-standard way to either try to break your streak or you break out of your slump, or you've just fallen into some kind of bad habits. So it's really good to brush up on your pre-flop range. It seems like that's the direction this video has kind of gone. We've had more talk about pre-flop than post-flop spots because we keep getting these hands that could be played in certain spots but cannot be played based on the action that's going on in these particular hands, in these particular games. And it looks like the tables are starting to close down now, so that's okay. We're at 23 minutes, and we'll just play till they don't let us play anymore. Again, if you haven't checked out Hand History Lounge, if you're not a member, www.handhistorylounge.com. 2 weeks for free. If you're not playing on Poker Bros and you want to play on Poker Bros, get in touch with me. I will put a little flyer at the end of the video with the information on how to get in touch with me. And this week, for Hand History Lounge members only, we have a really cool promotion going on, which I will also show that flyer towards the end of the video. Got nothing to lose. Hop in here for 2 weeks. Hop on Poker Bros. Join into the competition. Have a shot at some free money. I'm giving away $500 out of my own pocket this week to Hand History Loungers only. So if you're a lounger watching this and you haven't seen the post on Hand History Lounge, definitely get on it. It just started about an hour ago, so you're not too late to the party. You still have a very good shot at winning the money. We'll talk about that more once this is done. With 5s on table 1, this is just going to be a call versus a 3x raise. If it goes raise, re-raise, we'd have to fold, but as played, it's just a call. King Jack suited. Definitely raising that from every position. You could get away with folding like King 10 suited and Queen 10 suited, maybe your very worst suited broadways from early position. But if you decided to play every suited broadway, every position in these lower limit games, that would be perfectly fine. Checking back the 5s on a board like that 3 ways, we're just not going to win, and that's okay. King Jack suited on table 3. This board's very much favors the caller here. We're going to check and mostly just check fold. It's not that much equity. 6-7 suited with all these players left to act behind is a little bit too loose, so we should be folding here. Facing a raise. King Jack, we can stick to the plan of just checking. It's not a great board. And again on the river, I just don't think we get enough folds. I think that there's a good chance he's going to end up with a pair like ace-6 or ace-7 or something. And again, we just lose to those hands. We do beat Queen Jack's about it. And we beat deuces, which we can get a fold from, but that's such a small part of his range that I don't try to target such a small part of his range that we could get to fold that beats us. Some boards you just have to realize favor your opponent like in a massive way, and those are just boards that it's just not worth it to even put any more money in. You just protect. You just put in money pre-flop because you had a pretty good hand, and then you just protect the money post-flop. You don't have to fight for every single pot you put a chip into. Deuces over on table 3. Let's see if we can find ourselves a set. Facing an under the gun raise. Definitely be calling for 2 more big blinds. Hoping no one re-raises. I think the suited aces we can play from any position in 50 cent a dollar. And facing under the gun limp, we're going to go ahead and raise to 4x. Isolate him. We whiff the deuces, and we're going to go ahead and check fold. King 4 suited. Facing an under the gun raise, it's a little bit loose of a call, but because it's a 3x and it's a suited king, and we can flush over flush a lot of his 8-9 suited, 9-10 suited, 10 jack suited, we'll go ahead and take a flop. If you folded there, that's fine too. With ace-7 suited facing a 3-bet and a cold 4-bet, nothing to do but fold here. And we'll fold the King 4 suited. Completely whiffed the King 9, just looking to check fold. Unfortunately, this is the problem with some play and explain type videos, is that you just don't run into a ton of hands. I'm going to go ahead and bet now since we make a king. If they didn't bluff the flop, they're probably not bluffing the turn, so we're just going to go ahead and start betting in case they have hands that they were pot controlling, like ace-5, ace-4, 6-8 suited, stuff like that, where we can still get value from it. Over on table 3, under the gun +1 min raise, and then a small 3-bet. I think it's fine to cold 4-bet this hand if you really wanted to introduce that into your range. I personally don't think it's necessary, nor do you need to do it. I think that under the gun +1 min raise is pretty weak though. Clicking stand up next big blind on all my tables. We'll wrap it up here. Looks like at least 2 of the 4 tables are getting ready to close, and we're almost at the 30-minute mark anyway. somehow we didn't find any sets, didn't really make any straights or flushes, didn't make any big pairs. But I think it's good to have a video like this occasionally, because if you watched Online Grind Volume 11, where I played 4 tables of 2-4 no limit, we got into a lot of hands. We ran pretty well. I think we flopped the set. We made a few hands. We got paid. We won, 150 big blinds or so. And, that's not the case this time, and that happens. And I think that's something we have to accept as poker players, that not every session is going to go your way, and not every session you will be gifted with great hands to play. You just have to make the most of the ones that you do get, and more importantly, not get frustrated and not play hands that you shouldn't be playing because things aren't going your way. I think case in point would be here. Jack 8 suited is going to be a fold. After 2 limps and a button raise, I think if you really try to push the action, people would call or they would 3-bet, and that's just not necessary. So we're just going to fold and move on. Well, that's unfortunate. Since we have nothing else to talk about, had we 4-bet this and one of them called, we would never be slow playing a flop like this where we flop the second nuts. We would just be betting and trying to shovel money in there, because their call range or continue range is going to be indifferent to our sizing there. They're going to have pairs plus straight draws or flush draws, and they're not folding for any size. So in that case, we would just want to get money into the pot. Queen 6 suited. This is definitely an open from the button. I fold it from the cutoff. If you decided to open some suited kings and suited queens from the cutoff, I think it's okay. You just don't want to get carried away with it. And since I was just talking about discipline in your opening ranges, I kind of want to stick to that. With the queens, we're going to go ahead and 3-bet. Pretty much always 3-betting a hijack raise with queens here. I know I mixed earlier when I had 10s, but with queens, it's just too much of a premium to be folding. No, I'm sorry, to be flatting. I know people like to play these offsuit aces from late position, and I think you're fine opening almost any ace on the button when folded to, but the cutoff is just a little bit too loose for me. I actually fold ace deuce and ace 3 offsuit on the button as well, but you can open any ace from the button if folded to. Obviously a new player to the app asking why they're shutting it down, but for veterans like us who've been here for about 2 months or more now, that's every Sunday night, which is why I decided to play small tonight and make a little video, because it's can get frustrating if you happen to be stuck playing a bigger game and then the game's shut down. They get going again pretty quickly on Sunday nights. There might be a 30-minute turnaround time, but 30 minutes is about the time where I'm going to get aggravated and turn off the computer and decide to have a couple glasses of screwball or go to bed or something. So we'll pretty much wrap it up here. We're out of this game too, and let me take one more hand, and then I will want to show you guys the promotion that we have going on for Hand History Lounge members for this week, who are also playing on Poker Bros. Through the club that I'm affiliated with and agent in. Okay, this table will be closed after this hand too, and we're just going to go ahead and stand up from that. So we're going to be out of there. So this week, if you are in the Hand History Lounge, 2-week trial, and if you're in the Hand History Lounge and you're playing on Poker Bros through me, I'm giving away $500 this week out of my pocket via a hands race. Poker Bros Palm Beach races. We're off to the races on the virtual felt in the Palm Beach Club. For this week, play as many hands as you can, and your total number of hands and total rake paid during the qualifying period will be added together. Come up with a final score. The 5 players with the highest total will be awarded the following prizes: $250 for first. Second place gets $100. Third place $75. Fourth place $50. Fifth place $25. So it's still early. This just started about 2 hours ago. So if you're watching the video, say on Monday when it should be posted, and you're not in the Hand History Lounge or not on Poker Bros, hop in, get set up on Poker Bros, get started playing, come grab some of this free money. Anyway, that'll be it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. And we'll see you next time for Online Grind Volume 13.